Coach Dabrowa, let's talk Air Force fencing. You went to Junior Olympics a couple of weeks ago, and Andre Nazimov just really knocked it out of the park.
Correct. Andre made top 8 in junior men's saber. There was about 300 competitors, and it's always a difficult competition, because it's the first weekend of January, so you're coming after a break, and it's always difficult to kind of get back into that competitive mode. But I think it's also a very good competition for our freshmen, especially now that we're heading into our collegiate season, and so we'll be on the road for the next couple of weeks, starting Northwestern next weekend, and so it's a good warm-up and kind of a preparation, especially for freshmen.
Yeah, and you head to Northwestern, and talk to me about that because you have some really good teams there. Obviously, you've already seen Ohio State this year. You're going to see Notre Dame. So what's your mindset going in? What do you tell your team as kind of like this is the beginning of the beginning?
Yeah, so this is a biggest part of our season because we will be, like I said, on the road for the next 3 weekends. We're going to Northwestern, then we have Duke and UNC, then we have a national competition in Cincinnati, and then obviously then we're looking at postseason, we're looking at regional qualifiers, we're looking at conference championships, and then obviously the most important part of the season, which is the NCAA championships. And so it's going to be a very long couple of weeks where we really put in the work in the fall to prepare for those competitions. So it's now all about maintaining the right mindset, maintaining what we've learned throughout the past weeks and the past semester, and kind of more focusing on our individual performances and coming together as a team.
How hard is it? Because it is kind of an individual sport. You're on the strip alone out there, but to get that culture of team mindset, how do you do that?
I think actually being on the road for so many weekends in a row, I also see it as a very team bonding experience, especially because you're going through all the hardships, you're going through all the big wins together. So it really does bring the team together. But I also think that it also invites very difficult conversations between coaches, between athletes, and athletes among athletes, and kind of figuring out how to navigate through all of those situations, and it takes a lot of communication on both ends, and especially when those emotions are heightened, it's very important for the coaches to really know how to talk to their athletes. So we do a lot of preparation ahead of time to talking to athletes and kind of figuring out how to approach those difficult moments and be ready for them when they actually happen.
This weekend at Northwestern, you've got some teams, as I mentioned, some teams higher up in the rankings, some teams lower down. How do you navigate that? How do you tell your fencers to navigate that when they go against someone who, in their mind, they're thinking, I should beat this person, and they go against someone who, in their mind, they're thinking, maybe I shouldn't beat this person?
Mm-hmm. That's actually a great question, because I think a lot of times people, and I see it among all athletes, that sometimes they kind of assign themselves specific places. And then my biggest thing is you really kind of for our athletes to understand that there is no specific place that they should assign themselves to, that they should show up on the strip, fencing the same way they fence on an Olympic champion, same way they fence someone who just started fencing, just because it's at the end of the day, it's just you and your opponent at the end of the strip, and that person wants to beat you. And if you have a plan, your opponent is going to show you very quickly if your plan is good enough or not. So you have to take every bout seriously, because again, fencing is very unpredictable. Like I said, it really depends on. Sometimes it depends on your skill level, and sometimes depends on just simply who wants it more. And so you ask what I tell my fencers, and I always tell them that you have to be the one who wants it more, because if you want it more, you are going to find a way to beat anyone, really.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the Air Force fencers want it more this weekend. Coach Dabrowa, thanks for the time.
Thank you.